Reconnected immediately.
So your kids didn't play together for the most part. They played against each other. What was that like? I'll start with you. What was it like with your sons? You guys get along great? Your sons get along? What was it like playing opposite?
It's just a game, and you know we both want to win, but it was about individual. If our kids did fine, we were fine, even if we won or lost, or at least I was. True?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There was no competition between the parents.
The
moms.
We're not like the dads.
Yeah, we were kind of like, I don't want to call us a sorority, but we supported one another because we were all going through it together.
Chasing around other kids. Mine were older, hers were younger, but have other kids at the field with us while we were watching baseball.
How much do you guys think you traveled over the years?
Every weekend from, well, I have 2 older boys also, from the time our kids were 8 years old until they were 18, and still traveling now, just longer distances and by airplane instead of car.
How about you?
We have a lot of frequent flyer miles.
Oh, I have companion passes.
Yes,
and,
it's fantastic. Friends reach out. Same
points.
thing, a lot of travel. The challenge for myself was because I was working, I got the privilege of being at the ball fields all weekend and then turning right back around and starting that work week all over again.
Was there ever a moment when you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore?
Many moments like that.
Never.
I did. I was tired, but I guess what rejuvenated me was the families, of course, that we were around, and watching your son just have so much fun and succeed, and watching a dream come true that you knew he had. So that's what invigorated me, and I think as a mom, that's definitely something that drives us and gives us energy and excitement.
If the kids are happy, mom's happy. It's supposed to be the other way around, I think, but if our kids are happy, we're good.
That's true.
Yeah, I never ever missed anything. I mean, I missed practices. My husband never missed, but I never missed any games. And it's hard now that they're with the minor leagues and now in the big leagues. You can't see all their games. You can't be there. It's really hard. But you can, with being able to see it on TV. You can see every sweat, every dimple, every every sweat mark.
As a mom, is it harder watching now at the level they're at, or when they were younger trying to establish themselves? I'll have you go first.
I would say probably when he was younger. And for me, I think mainly because as a mom, you always want to watch your kiddo succeed and have that dream come true. And, and Julie and I used to talk, while they were both in the minors, that how difficult it was as a mom watching, the progression, because you want it so bad for them and you know how bad they want it. So once they get to the show and they actually get that call, to me, I was able to kind of let it go, because then I knew he had finally made it. So his dream had come true. So now, and he's older, so I'm not as nervous about if he's doing the right things or making the right decisions. So as a mom, I think I was able to let it go and give it to him, even though we're always going to be mom and we worry. I don't know. I just don't let the highs get too high or the lows get too low with baseball. And I'm kind of finding my way through that emotional piece of it and able to kind of just hang out and be right in the middle now. So it's a little less emotional for me.
What about for you?
I think it's the total opposite. For me, I mean, it was always so easy in travel ball, and even in the minor leagues, he just progressed so quickly and easily. When you get in the big leagues and you have an injury, which Brendan started out with an injury, it wasn't fun for a while. I mean, just he was never hurt when he was younger, and now it's I remember when he got drafted, they said it'll become a job, and I remember Brendan laughing and saying, "Mom, I'm playing baseball. It's a game." But I think as you go through the levels, and you're fighting every day for your position. I mean, they can move you up, they can move you down, they can sit you on the bench. He's always played every day in travel ball, every day, even in all through the 5 levels of minor leagues. But you get up to the big leagues, and everybody's as good or better, and those balls are coming at you at 100 miles an hour, and those pitchers are hitting you, and you know, it to me, it's much more pressure for me now.
What about, so you and I met, let's focus on Julie for a second. You and I met, I think probably the night before the draft, and he got drafted 3rd overall. David Eckstein, former Major League Baseball player, I asked him about your son. He said, oh my gosh, best I've ever seen, right, at his position. When did you know as a mom that he might be something special on the field?
Probably his junior year of high school. People always told us, but you know, you're a mom, and every mom and every dad thinks their kid's great. I think my husband thought he was really good, but I think I realized it when all the college coaches started knocking on our doors, and all the pro teams wanted to come to visit us in high school, excuse me, in high school. I think that's when I realized. But I mean, Dante Bichette told him when he was 5 years old he was going to be a big leaguer, and you know, we're like, how can you tell he's a little baby? You know, he just playing baseball the first time in his life, and you're telling me. But he picked up really quickly, I guess, the game, and probably would have never played if it wasn't for the guy down the street, because my other kids all played soccer, and we were not a baseball family.
So did you, okay, so you got the draft, big moments, right? Thinking back, what would be the biggest moment thus far for you as a mom watching your son?
Big league debut.
Were you there?
Oh yes, we were in Arizona visiting him, and we got a phone, or we were at his condo in Arizona. He wasn't there, and he was in AAA, and we got a call from him that night saying, I'm going to the big leagues. And we had like 5 hours to get a flight. We had a dog. We had his dog with us, and we're in Arizona, and my husband and we jumped on a plane. We were there. We had 20 family members. His coaches were there. His grandmother was there. Our whole family was there. That was for sure. And we played the Phillies, which is, they were amazing. They accommodated all of us. They allowed us to have, I had cousins from New Jersey coming in. I had the whole world there, or he had. But that by far, no doubt. You too? The biggest moment, for sure.
Did you ever try and talk him out of pursuing this?
Well, I always told him, ever since he was in school, and they'd say, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a baseball player. I always said, that's great, Brendan, you know, you have your dreams and whatever, but you have to have a backup plan. And he'd always say, no, Mommy, I'm going to be a baseball player. And yes, I tried, but he pretty much, he ate, breathe, sleep, baseball. He did his whole life. And he played Pop Warner football, he played basketball. I think Ryan did too, right? All the sports, but baseball was by far always number one.
All right, let's go over to you. About the same questions. Biggest moment as a mom thus far watching your child play?
It was the phone call that we got from Ryan when he got the big phone call for the show, the big debut, which of course I never knew this lingo until we got to go through this process, and now I know some lingo. So yeah, when he got his call up, we unfortunately were in Asheville at the time on vacation, my husband and I, and he was called up during the COVID season.
Oh.
Everything
and
happens
you're a nurse,
for a reason.
so yes.
You're right. So, but I do believe everything happens for a reason. So it wasn't, it was a little disappointing, but we made the best of it. We really quick all had to make a bunch of videos of all of our family. And we had about 2 hours to pull it together. My husband and I had just gotten done whitewater rafting. So needless to say, I was a hot mess. So we real quick pulled it together, and we all made videos and sent it in, and they aired it, and we got to watch Ryan watch it and cry. I had some fantastic champagne, and that was by far definitely the best day.
So when did you know that your son might be something special on the field?
I would say it was very similar to what, Julie and I have very similar stories. I think it was probably when it was in 10th grade when UCF kind of came knocking and said, hey, would you, be interested in a college scholarship? And I thought, wow, in 10th grade, that's kind of quick, you know. And so we went on a tour, and they treated us so wonderfully, and they were really interested in Ryan, and I just saw the look in Ryan's eyes. It was a twinkle, and I thought, okay, I think definitely this kiddo has got the potential to play college ball. Never did I think at that moment that he would be where he's at right now. So, and I think as moms, we tend to be conservative because we always want to protect our kids, and we don't want to see them hurt or fail. So we're conservative that way.
Did you ever try and talk him out of, not talk him out, but just say, come on?
You know, I really never did. I kind of let him just do his thing. And he was the kid, he grew up with a ball in his hand, whether or not it was baseball, basketball. He even played some tennis with his friends, golf, you name it, football, he was playing it. When he really had to make the decision is when he went to high school, his freshman year, he had to choose between basketball and baseball. So we let him make that choice, and within 24 hours he came back and said, baseball is my first love. So that's when I knew that he was going to lock in and just fight all the way through and do the very best he could to try and make it. So we supported him all the way through it. I think his backup was maybe some kind of sports commentator, something sports related. I think, yeah, maybe be you, John. I don't know.
I better watch out.
I know,
then
you
when
better
he's
watch
done.
out. So.
All right.
Got a couple years, we hope, like 10 or 15.
Right.
Yes,
right.
yes.
Let's do a two-shot real quick. Let's talk about the money aspect of it. Because you brought it up. You're like, all right, we're a mom. I'm a mom. I'm trying to be conservative, teach them all the right things. All of a sudden, their paychecks get a little bit bigger than most kids their age, right? How has that been? Start with you. How has that been? Do you counsel him on this?
You know what? Not so much. And we've actually been very blessed with a wonderful financial advisor that has taken care of my son.
Have to have that.
Yeah, you have to have that. I try to stay out of that part of it unless I am asked. And, you know, these kids have had to grow up so quickly. And, you know, and I think Julie could probably vouch for this. They grew up away from us, and then all of a sudden you turn around and they're this adult.
They're men.
They're men. So I allow him to be himself, and his advisor really watches over his purchases. So it's pretty conservative, thank goodness. Thank goodness. So it's been interesting watching, but it's been very exciting.
Now,
you always want what's best for your kids.
Yeah,
so.
Julie, your son buys a $10,000 chair, $15,000 chair. Are there moments when you're like, let's scale back. This might not last forever.
This might not be the same story. We are very frugal people. I mean, I still shop with coupons, and I watch every penny I have. My son spends a little bit more freely. He's very generous. He's very kind to his family. He gives the best presents for Christmas. Everybody can't wait to see what Brendan buys everyone. Thank goodness when he was 18 years old and he did get that very large signing bonus, it all went into the bank. So he can't touch that. So he lives off of, what his paycheck is now, which is very nice when you're in the big leagues. But he's good. He's good with his money. I mean, he likes nice things. And it's just different than mom and dad would do, but he makes good choices.
Okay.
I mean, the chair maybe. We enjoy it every single day. It's a spaceship, and it's great for massages and everything. But
It just
that one was
meals. And we would be wonderful.
It does
Good
almost
gifts.
everything.
And I'll be
Good
leaving
gifts.
in too. She doesn't know that.
Yeah.
How about, okay, this is interesting because I've asked a few players this over the years, but I never asked the parents. Has there been one player who plays with your son where you're like, oh my gosh, I have to meet so-and-so, or you have met them and you're like, I can't believe I'm standing next to so-and-so who now works with my son? Has there been one that stands out for you in that? Who's that?
Well, I've always loved Cal Ripken.
Oh.
So, and
His eyes.
Yes. So I've always been a Cal Ripken fan, and ironically, my whole family is from that Maryland area, at least the majority of them. So when he was drafted to the Orioles, it was just really kind of surreal. that we've come full circle, and there's Cal Ripken. As a little girl, I used to stand on the edge, just try to, on the side of the dugout, just trying to get an autograph. And I have yet to meet Cal Ripken, but I have stood side by side and gotten a nice big hug from Billy Ripken. So that was the closest I've come. So that to me was lovely. And I'm just waiting on my Cal Ripken introduction. So
that was it, the perfect game,
yes.
wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, he was their coach.
Yes,
Yes,
it's very exciting.
High school All-American game.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then of course we've met Dante Bichette.
We have a lot of people here
really
in our
have.
area
Yeah.
that are
really
pretty
have.
awesome.
How about you? Anybody that stands out where you're like, oh, my son's playing with so-and-so?
You know, all the boys that he's grown up through the minor leagues are like my heroes because they were always older than him. There's Sam Hilliard, Josh Fuentes. They're players on his team now that have been with him all through the minor leagues, and and Dom Nunez. They're the guys he plays with. I mean, they're like my kids. We have a whole mom group that during the games we're texting each other. Oh, Sam just hit a home run! Bomb! You send the little emojis on your phone, and yeah, it's just that core group of, because you know them. They're my boys. There's 4 or 5 of them on the team.
It's funny, you were talking the lingo, the show, all this. How much did you have to learn to be able to communicate with your kids along the way?
My son would laugh at me.
They still do laugh. What do you mean? They
Yeah.
used to. They
It's
still
like,
laugh
Mom,
at us.
do you mean it's? And I'm like, whatever that word is that you use. I don't know what
you need
that
to
word
learn to hit
is.
that pitch, that one
Yeah,
that goes
that one
like
that does this. Or how did you hit the one that
Yeah.
went over that way? Well, what kind of pitch is it? I don't know. It just went that way. So, yeah, we've had
When
to
you
learn.
learn
I
to-
ask. And you just, I don't know.
You
I
can't give advice, that's for sure.
You don't give advice. I have Googled up a couple things. Like, all right, I need to be that cool mom. Let me figure out what that means. Oh, okay, it means this. And he'll just laugh because he knows I've Googled it.
What else I find interesting, the picture you showed with all the people, I mean, they probably played against either major leaguers or future major leaguers their entire life. Does it shock you guys how many are coming out of Central Florida that you see them on TV now?
Oh, yeah.
We got a lot.
I mean, the teams they were on were always so amazing. And we'd win, you'd go to the Disney World and you'd win the Disney tournament, or you'd go to East Cobb and you'd win the East Cobb. And then you start thinking, wow, we must be, these teams, or our team, I mean, there was more than one team. We weren't on the same team. But we would always win the kids would always win the tournaments. And then you start realizing when they're juniors in high school, well, this one just committed to Miami, this one just committed to South, to UCF or Clemson or wherever, and it's just like, golly, every kid that they played with when they were little guys, they're at least D1 players, and now half of them are in the big leagues too. So,
And I think it really helped to develop our sons.
oh yeah,
I'm sure.
When you're facing really good competition all the time, you rise to that level of competition if you're able to, and you continue to rise. And I think this area allowed our boys to really hone in on the skills that they have that we see now in the big leagues.
and be confident enough to, when you do hit that next level, to have the confidence to be able to continue.
And excellent coaching.
Yep.
Can't say enough about the coaching. We've had Jared Goodwin. Jared Goodwin's fantastic. Really helped my son get to where he's at. Still very supportive.
He goes and watches them play all the time.
Does he?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
What I think the hardest part about being a parent, what I'm discovering too, is when they fail or when they get to the point where they can't move any further. I'll start with you on this one. If it ended today, injury, whatever it might be, what advice would you give your son? Because this career is a short one, right? How do you advise your son as a mom for a fulfilled life the rest of the way out?
That's a tough one, John. I think with Ryan is such a calm, gentle soul that I think he would take everything that he's learned by getting to where he's at now. And to me, my motto that I've taught the kids is to whom much is given, much is required. So I think with that motto, I would just say, with everything that's been given to you, look around. You've got so many other gifts. How can you touch people? Of course, I'm a nurse, so I'm thinking in that, along those lines. What can you give back now? Now it's your turn. You can just do it in a different, in a different manner, if that's what the calling was for, for you. So I think also with baseball, even if you're injured or your career were to end, they have so many contacts and so many folks that they can reach out to, especially if Ryan wants to be that sports commentator that he says he wants to be. I would encourage that 100%. He's got a great personality.
Call me,
He's
right?
funny. I'm going to have him call you, John. So.
How about you? If it were to end, how do you counsel your son? Knowing that the money you've made now, you may not ever make that again in another career. How are you going to make it to 70 or 80?
I'm sure it would be difficult no matter what, no matter when your time in any job ends. I think he'd be fine. I mean, again, you have so many contacts in the sports world. I can't imagine, I don't know that Brendan wants to be a broadcaster. I think he's kind of quiet. But, I mean, I could see him opening a baseball school, all players, open something that's baseball related. I think I could see him just continuing on the path somehow, some way, coaching. I think he'd love to coach. I think he'd be a good coach. I don't know in front of the camera. I don't think that's him, but I think he'd do fine. I think, of course, it would be difficult at first because, you do as a mom. I mean, as a mom, I worry all the time, every day, about the injuries. Especially, last week we got hit in the hand with a fastball, and a couple weeks before, you run, you pull a hamstring, and you throw too hard, you hurt. You never know when it's your time. So, but he has a great core support group, whether it's coaches or family, his girlfriend, he has, the whole thing, so he'd get through it with a little help from family and friends.
You're in two-shot right now. Yep. All right, so we'll sum it up with this one, and we'll start with you on this. So as we conclude the conversation, people think, what's it like being a major league mom? How do you sum it up?
It's not as easy and fun as it looks. It's very stressful. You live every moment through your child. I wish I didn't. Maybe you don't, but I do, and I don't think they understand that we wait for the lineup to come out every day. We watch every single solitary game. We travel once a month to be able to see them for the little amounts of time you can because they're so busy. I mean, when you go to see them, they have workouts, they have, massages, he's always got some kind of something he has to do. So it's very, this is not just you go out and hit a baseball. It's a 10-hour a day more job that they do, and you have to love every second while you're there because you never know. I hope it's a 35-year career. I mean, until he's 35 years old. But like you said, it could be tomorrow.
The stresses of a mom once again.
Enjoy it every day, and we do.
How about you?
I agree. I'm going to say ditto to most everything you've said, because everything she has said, we've met, and we talk about that. So, we moms definitely have formed a support group.
Absolutely.
The stress is unbelievable. I've had some folks say to me, not baseball, moms, but I don't know why you're just not super excited all the time. Well, because the highs are highs and the lows are lows, and it's really difficult. And then the injuries come in, and the other, I think, biggest challenge is, when you're watching your child fail on national television. Let's say they don't make that catch or they don't hit the ball well, and you feel it. As a mom, you can't not feel every emotion that they're feeling. And we know what we're looking at when we're looking at our kids on TV.
You can see it in his face, can't you?
I can see it in his face.
I can see the way they stand.
Yes. So, and we feel those things. And I don't care how old they are, we will always feel those things. When they get injured, my son just recently got a concussion. And you could see the glazed look in their eyes, and you just hope that they're getting the best care that they can get. And my natural instinct, and I know it's Julie's, we want to run up there. How quick can I get a flight out? And you just need to pump the brakes, calm down, and know that they're in good hands. A lot of crying on and off, whether it's for
good and bad,
good tears or sad tears. But you just hope that they get through it unscathed, and the fans are kind, because there's some rough fans out there. So I mean, we have stories, but we'll keep it under wraps. But
let me ask you about that real quick. When you're in the stands and you hear somebody, whether it's the home team or the away, or the announcers, saying your son stinks today, how hard is that for you?
It's extremely hard, but I've learned to finally tune that out. Before, I would literally think to myself, "We're going down. We're going to take it. We're going to take somebody out."
I would do that.
We both would. We're ready to go, and you just kind of have to tune it out. And I have learned to stop getting on Twitter, stop getting on all the social media, and just shutting it down. And I have been known to say, if there's a fan sitting next to me and they mention my son's name, I immediately say, "Oh, you're talking about Ryan? I'm his mom." And they're immediately, "Oh, okay, we better censor anything." So I just kind of make sure that the surroundings is, that I'm in good shape there, so I don't have to get upset.
How about you?
Pretty much the same. I would never say anything, but I do talk to the TV a lot here when my husband and I are watching a game, and it's just like, you should. It's a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Of course, he can't hit every single one of them or whatever. But yeah, it's sometimes hard. I do look at social media, which I shouldn't, but I would never say anything. But I say it in my head to myself, and that usually helps. Makes me feel better.
Never respond.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
hard to not. You're sitting there and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna." No.
Oh,
can't
I
do
would
it.
never. No. But
No.
I mean, to the other moms, we have this group. We have a group of 4 moms on the Rockies that we literally, if somebody says something like, and our announcers are amazing, by the way, but if somebody says something or we read something on Twitter, we will let each other know how we felt about that, or especially if they're talking about one of the other kids, that other mom will come back and say the same thing. It's hard. It's hard, but
I'll leave it with this one. Sorry, I sprung a few extra questions on you. Growing up, you have a young child. Did you ever think you would be a major league mom watching your son play baseball on TV?
absolutely not. Never in my wildest dreams, but it is awfully fun. Right
It's
now.
a lot of fun. Same thing. Not in a million years.
Is your
Not
goal
in a
to hit all the
million
stadiums?
Oh yeah, I hit every minor league stadium. I've had more fun.
I met you in Nashville that one
I
time, and they played against each
I know,
other.
I know, that was super fun.
That was
It's-
very fun.
Yeah, it's been fun. Just
That's
you
all I
know,
told me that.
touring all the stadiums and meeting all the wonderful people, and definitely more positives than there are negatives.
Get some good seats too.
I
yeah,
bet.
you get great seats from
Moms
right
get
behind
great
home
seats,
plate.
don't
Really
they?
good seats.
Right behind home plate. So
All right.
Sometimes it's difficult to get all the family and friends that want seats, though. But
I'm sure.
yeah, that's
that
challenging.
sometimes.